What is up, y'all? It's the Eric V, your stream teach here, and a while ago I saw this TikTok.
Where's the advice for the medium range people, the 10, 15 average people to get to that 20, 30 so we can keep growing? Where's the advice for us?
And it reminded me back when I was averaging about 15 viewers and I couldn't get out of that plateau. It's a common one for some reason. And I thought back to some of the YouTube videos I used to watch that were titled very directly, how to get more than 15 viewers, how to get 20 viewers, how to get 30 viewers. And at the end of those videos, I realized that I had learned nothing. I heard nothing that was actionable. I'm not gonna guarantee you that you're going to get 45 viewers by the end of this video immediately. I'm gonna tell you everything that I currently do that I think helps me get to where I am currently, which is in the top 1% of Twitch, according to Twitch Tracker. So let's talk about what I feel like is yielding good results. Class is in session. From 2009 to about 2012, I was a content creator on this very YouTube channel, which is why my subscribers don't quite match my views. I had much very different content, and then I stopped making videos for years. This is around the time where I created my social media accounts and I started engaging with audiences quite early in my internet career, and people were and are aware of me based on that old content that I used to make right here. As I was making that YouTube content, I was also streaming. And I was streaming on a website called Blog TV, which you may have heard of. And on this website, I cultivated my ability and my love for talking to people and engaging with communities. And that love of talking with my community is really, I think, the secret to my success. And that's not everything, but that is the secret to my success, is that I enjoy the process of talking to people. And some people feel like, oh, I have to talk to my chat consistently. From my standpoint, it's like I get to talk to my chat consistently and have cool conversations. So when I'm streaming, I'm confident, I'm happy, I'm the best version of myself. Sometimes I tell people, if you want to get to know me, like, watch a stream of me. And that will tell you exactly who I am in my purest form because of that extreme comfort that I'm in. So when I stopped doing YouTube for a while, I also stopped streaming because I didn't feel like people had much of a reason to watch my streams because I wasn't doing any pre-recorded edited content. The main reason I stopped creating YouTube content at the time was because I fell out of love with hip hop and also fell out of love with video games. And those were the two niches of my YouTube stuff. Because I was so into hip hop, I was following Dead in Hip Hop, of course. I saw them tweet out about them starting a gaming podcast, and I heard the gaming podcast and I sent them a tweet being like, hey, y'all should let me on this podcast. And then they did. I'm local, and that made everything so much easier. So because I had an in pretty much on the internet and with the gaming audience, I decided maybe it's a good time for me to start live streaming again because I've always loved live streaming. And when I first started streaming again, I was streaming directly from my Xbox One X console, directly from my PS4 Pro, and everything wasn't super professional the way it is now. But as I was doing these streams, I made sure that the podcast pivoted to doing live streaming as well, because that doesn't really interfere with anything. It's just like adding a live streaming element to it. And once we got the live streams on Twitch, we already have a preset audience that's ready to come and view each of the cast members separately on the platform of Twitch. When I'm on this podcast, I'm making sure that I'm an active participant in the podcast. I'm not just sitting there on a microphone, hi, I'm Eric. Making sure the podcast had a YouTube presence was very important to me because I knew that the podcast success was my success. From my old stuff, I've already gathered the legacy viewers who watched the YouTube stuff back in the day on Blog TV. And then I gathered some people from Dead in Gaming, the podcast, who were now aware of me and could easily access me because they were already watching the podcast on Twitch. So while I was streaming from console, everything was going fine. I did have a camera, I did have lighting, because I always knew that these things were important to me. It wasn't until I played Persona 5 in December of 2018, I tried to stream the game, and then it was like, nope, you can't stream this game through your console. So I said, I need a workaround, but I don't have a capture card. And that's how I found the workaround of using remote play as a workaround to not use a capture card, but be able to use OBS and have all the bells and whistles that other streamers have, which is why this is among the first videos that I've made on my channel, because so much of my streaming has been budgeted and smarter than harder. I made sure that I was able to stream on a schedule because, like television, I feel like humans are just ritualistic creatures. As much as we try to shake that, we are creatures of habit. So I tried to make a schedule that was pretty easy for everybody to remember and follow, which is the same one I use now: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. For old school Saturday, which is at noon, but the other streams are at 6:30 to 10:30, and I made sure that those streams started at 6:30 so that they were early enough for my international viewers to watch. Of course, I'm communicating that schedule with everyone. Scheduling isn't the easiest thing to do, but you have to do what works for you. I do work a 40-hour-a-week job while I do all the things that I'm about to mention to you in this video, so do keep that in mind. I don't have any children. I'm not married. I'm not a homeowner. So keep all of this in mind when it comes to time management for yourself. I do have one pet. He is a cat. Doesn't take a whole lot. Just feed and scoop. With that Twitter account that I still had, I made sure occasionally, not all the time, I would post clips to Twitter. And this is a Twitter account that has been active the entire time that I've been using it since I first created the Twitter account back in 2009. So I already have a few followers, but I post my stream clips on Twitter. They are not stream links. They are clips from stream, and they are also edited and optimized for Twitter. What I mean by that is I'm trimming the fat, and I'm making things that are relevant to the setup and the punchline. That's basically all the parts of the clips that I'm posting. I'm posting setup, I'm posting punchline. There's not a whole lot of extra fluff. If I can punch up something with a sound effect, with a visual, I'm doing that. But that's what I'm posting to Twitter. It's not just, okay, download, re-upload. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times it doesn't tell the full story. And of course, sometimes while you're doing a stream and you're talking to chat, if you're talking to your chat, which you should be talking to your chat, some of that stuff isn't relevant to the greater picture of somebody from the outside looking in. If something cool is happening, you say something to the chat, something cool continues to happen, cut out the middle piece. And sometimes those clips will do pretty well, but it's not something that I did on a super regular basis. I feel like there's a very notable event in my streaming career is when Story Mode Bay raided me. And I was playing GTA 5. I did the thing that I've done in my raid video, which is talking about who I am, what I do, where I live, what to expect from the channel, and just being a cool person. You don't have to be an artificial version of yourself when it comes to streaming. You just have to be an open, comfortable person. You have to be your truest 100% self when it comes to streaming. There are people who may not like the real you. Those people will not watch you, or they might troll you or tell you that, and you can block them and react accordingly. You will be left with the people who like you for who you are, and those are your best people. Those are your bread and butter, and inevitably, as long as your outreach is good enough, and as long as you are comfortable enough, you will find more of those people. So the Story Mode Bay raid gave me access to people who were familiar with me. And because I was spending enough time in her community, I wasn't a stranger to the people that came with the raid. So I'm able to relate to them because I literally relate to them already. And I was able to make IRL friends out of this raid because I mentioned that I lived in Atlanta and some of them live in Atlanta. And now they are still my friends years later. These are some of the only people I feel comfortable talking to about streaming because I know they can relate to my woes and ills and things that most people can't really relate to because most people aren't content creators. So that is a very valuable asset. Your actionable tip to come from that is to engage in communities that are engaging to you. And I'm not saying to go in there and say, hey, I'm a streamer, come check me out. I'm not saying to do follow for follow. Have people become familiar with you, with your presence, your existence, your name, your colors that are associated with you because you're typing in the chat. Because every time you type in a chat, you are effectively sharing your link to your Twitch channel. If you're just one click away and you're saying valuable, funny, entertaining, insightful things, people are likely to click because they have some curiosity about you because you're an interesting person. Even though, like I said, you don't have to and you shouldn't try to plug yourself or be a shameless person. There are communities that are surrounded with streamers which are occupied by people who are interested in streaming. So it's not out of the way to talk about how your stream is going, like Real Mama Eagle, for instance. When Guile Levels streams, he talks about streams, he reviews streams like Real Mama Eagle. Like myself, I'm always giving tips to streamers, so if you're talking about streaming, people will assume and realize that you're a streamer without you being like, hey, I'm a streamer, check out this link, or hey, I'm about to go live. It's obnoxious, nobody likes it.
Stop it. Get some help.
With those viewers that I already had from Dead End Gaming, from YouTube, Blog TV, from communities that I engaged in, I made sure that I continue to keep those communities engaged even when I'm not streaming by doing things like weekly movie nights. Now I had to pare that back to monthly movie nights, and I will get back to movie nights if my Discord people are watching, I'm sorry. But that's a way to keep people engaged in your communities. So one fateful night, I decided to do a just chatting stream, which I often do just chatting streams. This particular week's just chatting stream was a streamer school stream, which had not existed. It was a stream in which I told hopeful people who were trying to learn how to stream, because it was the beginning of the, let's call it, pandemonium. There were a lot of people who were interested in streaming, so I decided to do a stream telling people how I do what I did. And that stream got so many viewers without many raids or anything, where people were just interested. And then I realized that this is the thing that I'm looking for. This is the diversification of the content. This is what my YouTube channel would be, because I knew I wanted to make a YouTube channel again or revive the existing one, but I just didn't know what direction I wanted to go in it. Based on how people reacted to that stream, and of course based on how many people were in that stream, I decided that that's the direction I wanted to go. And again, Story Mobe was in the chat. I remember her writing, taking notes. And because that was a streamer I looked up to a lot, that meant a whole lot to me. And it really made me feel like, you know, maybe my opinion is valuable here. And with anything that I create, but especially a YouTube channel, there's 2 requirements that I have to have, which was true for hip hop and video games, which is why I stopped making videos. But I have to know it and I have to love it. And those 2 things weren't true at the time that I quit my YouTube channel, but they were true and are true for streaming. I know this, I love this. Therefore, I'm willing to spend hours talking about it, even if I don't get much benefit from it. And that is a big aspect to this. So with that, I rebranded this channel into what it is today. I knew I had to be consistent on the channel, but I wasn't able to balance weekly movie nights with podcasting, with about 20 hours of streaming a week, with the job, with a new relationship. I just couldn't do it. So I knew that I had to let something go, because again, I need to know it, I need to love it. I felt like the only thing that could possibly go for me was the Dead End Gaming podcast, because I wanted to do this consistently. I feel like everything that you do needs to be consistent. If you can't do it well and you can't do it often, and if you can't do it often well, then you might as well not do it. And I felt like those things became less true for me on the Dead End Gaming podcast, but they were also not true for this YouTube channel. I was half-stepping in both buckets, which is an analogy that doesn't make sense. But I decided to fully pull out of the podcast so I could fully dedicate myself to this YouTube channel. And at the same time, I felt like less and less viewers were filtering in from the podcast into my streams, so it was doing me even less good from that aspect as well. And I was enjoying it less, and I feel like I was being less impactful on it because I was enjoying it less. So it was a lose-lose all around. When I do the YouTube channel, when I do anything, I'm putting my all into it. I'm doing my best at it. This isn't just a channel in order to get people to my Twitch channel. I mean, it is that, but at the same time, it's something that I put blood, sweat, tears. I think I'm sweating literally right now. I put blood, sweat, and tears into. Late at night, I lose sleep over it because I'm working so hard at it. I don't expect it to be instantly gratifying. I don't expect it to pop off without me doing my best at it. And this is not a shortcut, because it takes a lot of work, and I am as passionate about this channel as I am about my Twitch channel. This isn't just a channel where I post my Twitch clips, directly re-upload it from the website and hope that people watch it. No, this is differentiated content that people who also watch my Twitch channel could get value out of, but it's also something that people from my Twitch channel could share with other people because it's valuable to them, even if they never watch my Twitch channel at all. Independently, it is good content. Feel free to dislike the video to prove me wrong. I decided that the YouTube channel, even though good, is not enough. I decided to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and sometimes I kill 3 birds with 1 stone. Let me tell you how I do that. I decided that I'm going to try posting my Twitch clips to TikTok. And again, like I said with Twitter, not just directly download it, re-upload it, but re-edit it for TikTok in TikTok's format so that it is optimized for TikTok. So what I did was I'm able to make a YouTube video about my experience doing that. And while I'm editing those TikToks, I'm able to make a just chatting stream out of while I'm editing those TikToks. Even though that's different content, it's literally feeding 3 different avenues of my content, which is TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube, all at the same time. And if you're hearing me say all these things and you're thinking, I have no time for that, think about how much time you spend streaming and maybe cut it down. Or just think about how you spend your time in general. How much TV are you binging? Do you need to pare that back? Are you playing a game that is not bringing you any joy and you can pare that back? think about those things. Nowhere in this video did I say that any of these efforts were quick, easy, clean, or guaranteed. This is just what I do, and this is what I've done. I started posting TikToks every day. And sometimes the TikToks would do very well. Sometimes they wouldn't do as well. And again, I've made a video about it, but I've had a viral TikTok since then. How much success has that TikTok brought me? Not a lot, but it's gotten me a few guaranteed viewers who come in regularly, and that's something to be considered. Also, I do want to note that gaming TikToks don't tend to do as well as my reaction TikToks to something that I'm watching on Twitch. And I'm not saying this is something like scientifically proven, but that's been my experience so far. I still post both, but one definitely does way better than the other. And again, when I do TikTok, I'm doing my best at it. The same way when I do YouTube, I'm doing my best at it. When I do Twitch, I'm doing my best at it. I'm looking into everything to make sure my audio is the best that it can be, and make sure the videos, the engagement, the thumbnails, the titles, descriptions, I'm putting my all into everything, which is why I don't try to do everything. I try to do the things that I'm able to do well, again, consistently. And I am humble enough to watch other advice videos. I still watch streamer advice videos, just like you are right now. I still watch YouTube advice videos. Sometimes I watch TikTok advice videos before I even rapped. I watch how to rap videos, like literally, to learn how to do the skill, because YouTube has all the knowledge. And my most powerful skill is being able to view my content as a stranger would, not as myself would with an ego, not as a friend would who is biased, but as a stranger would, somebody who's never seen you before. Is that good outside of you? Does it make sense to enough people for them to share it? That's how I view everything that I do. Most of this growth stuff isn't really hacks, but more so your mindset going into things and you having to be self-aware. Doing things for the sake of just doing them. Hey, I made a YouTube channel, I'm not growing. Just doing it isn't worth doing if you're gonna do it subpar, or if you're gonna do it inconsistently. You might as well not do it at all. Spare your mental health. And when I watch these streamer advice videos, when I do things, when I watch other streamers, I view to see things that work for me. And I also view to see things that don't work for me and I don't do them. And I share those things with you on this YouTube channel. Try to do the same thing, adapt accordingly. There is no guaranteed road to this stuff, but there are best practices. You're only as valuable as the content that you create. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's true. You can be yourself. I'm not saying you can't. You can have your ups, you can have your downs, but make sure that you take care of yourself so that you can create the best thing possible. And try not to self-pity too much. And this is something I still struggle with. I think I do good work, and I don't feel like I get the recognition I feel I deserve for it. But that doesn't stop me from creating. It doesn't stop me from improving. I want you to think about the streamers that you watch and how you found them. And I know the diversify your content thing is old. It's old because it's true. It is what I do. It is what I've always done since 2009, literally. I always think of live streaming as a concert. You can plan it as much as you want, but things can go well, things can go wrong. But also like a concert, if somebody is not familiar with your polished work, it is hard to get people into a concert via word of mouth, or it's hard to find people walking around town looking for a concert. People watch concerts because they like the album, because they like the music video, and those things are polished. The concert is just a celebration of that, where merch can be sold. thestore.org. It's been a long time since I've done that. Yeah. That was a bit of a doozy, and I hope that you learned something from it. This isn't the generic, just keep streaming, it'll get better. I hope I told you some things that are actionable and applicable to you, or maybe something that I said could spark you into doing something on your end. But just remember that your mindset is the most important thing that comes into streaming, and being able to be self-critical, being able to watch your own VODs, being able to see yourself as an outsider would, because those are the things that carry me forward. Also, again, just loving the process. That's gonna carry you further than most things would, because honestly, Twitch is not even close to paying my bills, but I enjoy doing it, so I keep doing it. Nowhere in that video did I mention how well I played the games I played. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. You just have to leave people with good feelings. I'm sure I'm a much worse gamer than a lot of people who are doing much worse on Twitch. Focus on yourself. Focus on the people. Class dismissed. Shout out to Corliss JC, Dr. J, and Mocha Medics for being tier 3 patrons. And introversion is on a spectrum, and it's very situational. There's people who think that I'm an extrovert based on my streams, because who would have thought? I am excited and interested when I'm on my own streams talking about things that I want to with people who are giving me positive attention. Who would have thought?